So Miraculous is such a show that you expect it to be bad because of the overbuild of hype and the promise, but again, when you watch it, it just consumes your entire life. So the New York special on a potential basis on the top surface looked really good. It got a strong plot, it's got a strong villain climax, it's got a good ending, and the chronological order placement that Thomas promised to be between season 3 and 4 was also pretty evenly placed into the entire episode. But obviously, once something's launched, once something's out, there are ways that it could have been made even better than what it is. But overall, the New York special is pretty solid, and there's only little to no improvements that need to be made to have make it even better. And I also know that this is a chronological state between season 3 and 4, so some parts had to be intentionally kept incomplete for us to find out in the future. Now, the main problem with the New York special was it just felt too rushed. It felt over rushed because of less screen time. Like Thomas and the other crew members, the writers, just had to squeeze a lot of story into this 1 hour segment. They could have made the thing longer, and they maybe even expected to make it longer, but just at the last moment, nah, we cannot make it that longer. They just squished everything into this 1 hour package. The main problem is in this entire episode, this special did not have a proper ending to almost every climax it started. It feels so anticlimactic at a point when you see it over and over again. You start to feel like, okay, what's next? What if this was there? What if that was there? You're going to be feeling that something is actually missing after anything even happens. We can start with probably, let's say, Uncanny Valley. Cat Noir kind of cataclysms her and then she passes away. She's an android, so Ladybug could use her lucky charm to bring her back. But the problem is, again, started and it just ended. Like, Cat Noir felt so upset and he felt so frustrated and grieved that he just had to give away his Miraculous. Night Owl and Majestia just felt like, okay, these kids are not able to manage this responsibility of a superhero, so they just want to confiscate their Miraculouses. But again, this plot started, this climax actually started, but we didn't actually see a real solution to it. Just Katnor just gave up his Miraculous, and again, that whole sad Adrian scene, it's actually really painful, but again, it just ended without out of nowhere, and Uncanny Valley helped Marinette to get back to Cat Noir, and then things go to normal once again. Then let's say Gabriel, like Gabriel's usual habitual act of not letting Adrian go, and then Ladybug knows that she has to leave Paris, so he gives Cat Noir the duty, and then again Marinette goes to Gabriel and convinces him to let Adrian go. And the main reason why Gabriel's actually even letting Adrian go is because he wants to get the Eagle Talon Miraculous, so hide his absence from Adrian, right? So again, this incompleteness still stays, and suddenly out of nowhere, Gabriel's like, "Yeah, okay, my son can go." And then again, last moment, Cat Noir's like, "Okay, fine, I can manage the city." But again, in the last one, guess what? Who's going? It's Cat Noir going to New York. And then again, let's go ahead and take a look at the New York heroes, right? So Thomas did do a lot of modeling and stuff about that. There were a lot of more heroes than we were expecting, like Majestia, Night Owl, Sparrow, Jess. Uncanny Valley. And then there were actually more heroes that we were expecting, but we just didn't get the time to see it. It's just like they could have made the episode a bit bigger to have completed it entirely instead of answering the fan questions later off over Twitter. And then there were again some plot holes like Ladybug and Cat Noir did not actually have their countdown start after they defeated a villain. According to Traumas, there's something to do with the villain itself to make the countdown start, which he actually said via Twitter, but never actually portrayed in the show. So they just had so less time to squeeze stuff into this episode that they just couldn't end up putting more they wanted. It's like this entire storyboard had been cropped and squeezed in one single package, which could have been expanded, but they just didn't get the time to expand. And then maybe the Guardian that's coming from Shanghai. Now the Guardian says he's coming from a long way. Where did he come from? Did he always used to live in New York here? It's like a very kick-ass episode, but there are just some ways it just felt really incomplete, and I think these need to be expanded more in the future because they could have made the movie longer, but they also had to keep it shorter because it was more to be a TV movie premiere rather than being an actual theatrical cinematic movie to be coming out. So I think technically it still makes sense that they made it smaller than what it is already. but I would just have expected it a bit more longer of a scene so that we could actually fit more stuff into it. The story has just gone a bit anticlimactic. Everything starts suddenly out of nowhere and then rushes to end. There is no middle. Everything that happens, like the Adrianette scene, the Lady Noir scene, then Cat Noir giving up his miraculous Uncanny Valley, needs time to breathe in the episodes, but they just didn't get that time. It was just rushed, so they just didn't get the exact time they needed. Okay, so don't get me wrong, the New York Special overall is a really great episode, and I've watched it more than 20 times. So what do you guys think? Put me down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.